In this lesson, I'm going to teach translators what they need to do in order to use Spiffio as a translation portal. In the previous lesson, we saw how a translation manager can create a document, assign it to a playlist, and then send a link to the automatic translation to a translator for review. So in this lesson, I'm going to assume that I'm a translator and I've received via email, let's say, a link to that document, and I've clicked it and opened it, and this is going to be what I see after I log in. So the first task is going to be to edit this translation and to make any corrections. So right here it says, ini adalah dokumen uji. Uji is the Indonesian word for test as in an exam, but that's not the right translation of this word. So let's say that we meant for it to be something else. So this is a example document, let's say. So I'm going to say, ini adalah dokumen contoh. There you go. And so I made my correction to this translation, and I click Save. That's it. I've saved my work. Now let's say that this was a very long document and that I can't finish the kind of review of this in one go. Then what I might do is I just mark how far I've gotten in reviewing this translation. Let's say I got to line 3. And I save that, and next time when I come back to this work again, I can click on this thing here, and it will take me immediately to the last line that I reviewed, and I can continue from there to make any other corrections I need to the translation. So that's my main task as a translator. I don't really need to do anything else inside of Spiffio except for this. The next thing is to ensure that the source and translation are aligned. And so in this example, I want to make sure that you learn what this means. If I have extra lines in my translations, you can see this turns red, and if I try to save it, it warns me and says, hey, the translation is not aligned to the source. What that means is that if the number of lines in the source document and the translation aren't equal, it means that there's probably a mistake. There's something going on where my translation is just wrong. And so to fix that, I just want to get rid of those extra lines and make sure that the number of lines match up. And when I save it, that error and that warning will go away. All right. The next thing is I've already shown you how to mark your progress. And so if it's a long document, you do this. And let's say that you already got to the end of the document and you've already reviewed everything and it's good to go. Then you can mark it that all lines have been reviewed. And that's going to inform the translation manager that this document is ready for use for other purposes. And the nice thing about that is you don't have to send an email to them or anything to let them know you're done. All you have to do is mark it as all lines reviewed. And as we saw, to save your work, all you have to do is press the Save button up here. And one more thing is that when you are done, you can click on this lock icon, and that's going to lock this so that users can't edit it. And that just makes it a little bit safer so that nobody else can come in there and mess it up. By locking this, you're really saying it's done, all the lines have been reviewed, and your work is complete. And that's it. For translators, Spiffio is very easy to use. It's easy to not have to worry about formatting a Word document and all the layout issues. You can focus on just the translation. It does use a language called Markdown. As you can see, these double stars, they basically mean that this is a bold section, and underscores mean that it's italicized. But these are very simple markup things that you can easily work with and understand just by looking at this raw lines. And so your work as a translator is just to go through every line in the source, compare it to the line in the translation, make any corrections, and then save it, mark all lines reviewed, lock it, and you're done. That's it. In our next lesson, we're going to talk about what analysts do in order to use Spiffio as a translation portal. This is an optional step, but this is helpful if you want to measure results.